What if the room you were living in could feel your emotions? And worse, what if it used those emotions against you? Imagine walking into a space that doesn't just react to how you feel, but twists your emotions to take control. This is the story of a room that isn't just a place, it's alive. Now I know what you're thinking. How can a room feel anything, right? But what if the space you lived in wasn't just responding to your thoughts and feelings, but feeding off them? What if the more unstable you became, the stronger it grew? The concept seems unreal, but as you'll soon see, what happened inside these four walls pushed me to the edge of my sanity. Stay with me as I reveal how a room, much like this one, became a living, breathing entity, and how I had to fight to keep it from consuming me whole. It all started innocently enough, just an ordinary room in an ordinary house. But as my emotions changed, so did the room. And the more unstable my mind became, the more it took control. But what happens when your own emotions become your most significant threat and there's nowhere left to run? Stick around, things are about to get strange. After a painful breakup, I rented a room in a quiet old house, far away from everything. The house wasn't anything special, but it was perfect for what I needed. A place to heal, to disappear. I was emotionally wrecked, trying to bury everything I felt from the past few months. The room at first glance felt like a sanctuary. It was quiet, unassuming, and ordinary. But looking back, that's precisely how it lured me in. The first few days I passed uneventfully. The room felt like a cocoon, shutting me off from the world, which was just what I wanted. I'd lie on the bed staring at the ceiling, thinking how nice it was to have a place where I could be alone with my thoughts. That feeling of safety didn't last long, though. I should have noticed sooner. The room wasn't just quiet. It was listening. One evening I was unpacking and growing frustrated. I couldn't get anything to fit where I wanted. My irritation rose until suddenly, I felt the room change. The air grew heavy and thick with tension, almost as if the walls were closing in around me, responding to my frustration. I shook it off, thinking it was my mind playing tricks. But that night, as I lay in bed, the room felt different, smaller, suffocating. Something had shifted, and I could feel it pressing in on me. Over the next few days, the room began reacting to my emotions. When I was calm, it seemed still. But when I felt anything, anger, sadness, fear, the atmosphere changed. The walls almost buzzed with energy. The air would thicken, objects trembled slightly, and the room seemed alive, feeding off my feelings. It wasn't just in my head. The more I felt, the more the room responded. One afternoon, after a particularly distressing phone call, I slammed my hand against the wall in frustration. The room responded violently. The walls vibrated, the lights flickered, and I heard a low, humming sound reverberating through the floor. Cracks appeared in the walls as if the room itself was breaking apart in sync with my emotions. My anger was feeding it, making it stronger. And I knew deep down that something was terribly wrong. At night, the room became even more oppressive. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, convinced that the walls had physically moved closer. Dark stains, veins almost, began appearing on the ceiling. The more volatile my emotions, the more the room changed, warping into something dark, twisted, and hostile. The room was feeding, growing stronger every time I lost control. I tried to stay calm, but the more I bottled up my emotions, the more the room seemed to toy with me. It was always there, waiting for me to crack. Even when I wasn't in the room, I could feel its pull. Creaks and groans followed me around the house. I'd catch glimpses of shadows moving in the corners of my vision. The room was alive, and it was watching me. One night, after breaking down completely, I could feel the room shift around me in response. The walls bulged unnaturally, the floor warped beneath my feet, and the furniture started to move on its own, scraping across the floor. I heard whispers from within the walls, my voice distorted, mocking me, repeating every dark thought I'd tried to push away. The room was feeding on my despair, growing more chaotic with each passing second. Desperate, I tried to leave. I reached for the door, but it wouldn't open. The windows were sealed shut. I was trapped. In a fit of panic, I began screaming at the room, demanding it to let me go. The room responded violently. Cracks splintered across the walls, the lights flashed, and the air became thick and suffocating. The more I screamed, the stronger the room's hold became. It was feeding on my breakdown, consuming every last ounce of control I had left. I realized then that the room wasn't just reacting to my emotions, it was controlling them. Every fear, doubt, and anger I felt was pushing me to feel those things, manipulating me to fuel its growth. The room was alive, feeding off my emotions to survive. It wanted me broken and weak, and now it was too powerful to resist. The walls began to bend, pulsating like they were breathing. The ceiling dropped lower and the floor cracked open, revealing a void beneath me. I could feel myself being pulled toward it, the whispers growing louder. I screamed, but it didn't matter. The room had me. I couldn't escape. The floor split open like a mouth, dragging me into the darkness. The room had taken everything from me. Just as the darkness swallowed me whole, the room fell silent. Everything stopped. For a brief moment, I thought it was over. But when I looked in the mirror, I saw it. My reflection wasn't my own. It was smiling back at me, a smile that wasn't mine. The room hadn't just fed off my emotions. It had taken something from me, something far more profound. In the end, the room didn't just respond to my emotions. It stole them, twisted them, and left me hollow. I walked out of that house, but something inside me had changed. Everywhere I go now, every room I step into feels different. The walls seem to watch, waiting for me to crack. It wasn't just that room. It can't be. Maybe they're all watching, waiting for the moment I let my guard down. And now, I can't shake the feeling that this wasn't a one-time thing. Is every room alive, waiting, feeding on our emotions when we're not paying attention? Will I ever find peace, or has every space become a new prison, ready to consume me the moment I feel something?